Antonio starts right now.
San Antonio police continue investigating after a man was shot and killed in a parking lot of a shopping center in the northeast side. Coming up, we bring you the latest details.
And in today's leading essay, Mayor Ron Nirenberg joins us live to discuss what the future holds for San Antonio during the pandemic, including what will happen with schools and sports in the fall.
And taking a live look out at the Alamo City, 79 degrees to start your Sunday morning. We hit triple digits yesterday. Will we see them again? Sarah Spivey joins us in just a few moments. But for now, good morning. I'm Max Massey.
I'm Stephanie Cerna. Thanks for joining us. Happy day after the 4th of July.
Yes. It is the 5th of July. Yesterday, the 4th. Were you able to make it out and about?
A little bit. So it was super hot. We kind of waited till the sun was hiding a little bit and took a short bike ride.
Definitely fair. I was hiding from other people. So that makes sense. Sarah, what about you?
We're supposed to, I guess.
Well, a little smart to do that, Max, especially with the pandemic that's going on. And if you did want to socially distance outdoors, maybe go for a walk with your close social circle or your family. It's going to be really hot today. That's about it. We reached 101 yesterday. Riverwalk and park forecast for the day. Just know that it's going to be a bit hazy from some Saharan dust in the air. It's also going to be hot. Low humidity, though, in the afternoon. So even though we're going to hit 100, at least there won't be a heat index value, and we'll have southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not too bad in the evening hours because, again, of the low humidity. And once the sun sets, those temperatures will slowly cool back down. We'll still be at 90 degrees by 9 p.m. Now, starting off the show with a little bit of a brain teaser, Weather 101 today. We reached 101 yesterday. What is the average high temperature for San Antonio in July? Take a guess. Max has not won a Weather 101 in a long time, so I hope he can get this one right. I'll be sorry about that, Max. You know I love you. Okay, and we will have an answer to this as well as your forecast. It's going to continue to be hot in the week ahead. Max?
Thank you, Sarah. Well, a man in his 30s shot and killed in a parking lot on the city's northeast side. Police continuing to investigate the shooting, trying to figure out what exactly happened.
Our Tiffany Huertas is live downtown with the latest details of this shooting. Tiffany.
Max, Stephanie, another person was also shot who was also in his 30s and was taken to a local hospital. His condition right now is stable. Now, this all started around 4:40 this morning at the shopping center in the 4400 block of Walsham Road. San Antonio police say a black car pulled up in the parking lot and someone in the vehicle started shooting at people. One man in his 30s died at the scene. Another man in his 30s was also shot in the arm and he was taken to SAMC. Police have detained several witnesses for questioning. Now, this is an ongoing investigation. We'll bring you the latest on KSAT.com. Max, Stephanie.
Thank you, Tiffany. New this morning, police is still investigating an overnight stabbing on the city's northwest side. They say a victim in the stabbing might also be the suspect. Police say two men actually got into an altercation in the parking lot of the Winbury Apartments. This is the 4500 block of Gardendale. We're told both men had weapons, one of which could have been a machete. One of those men hospitalized with a gash on his head, the other taken into custody. Police say they're still questioning both men. No charges have been filed just yet, but another person was arrested on the scene.
New this morning, a man is facing charges after police say a drug deal took a violent turn. Now, this happened on June 27th. Police say they responded to the 3200 block of Salinas to investigate a reported assault. When they got there, they found a trail of blood leading from the sidewalk to the front door of a home. They say the victim and the victim's boyfriend went there to buy drugs. While they were there, police say Ernest Hernandez accused them of stealing a wallet and then hit one of them on the head with a gun. The couple ran to their car and tried to drive away. Police say that's when Hernandez fired several shots at them. They found the gun with blood on it inside that home. Hernandez is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
And the search continues this morning for a man authorities believe may have drowned at Canyon Lake. Comal County officials say a 25-year-old man was swimming at the lake just yesterday, but he never came out of the water. The man was last seen in an area near Canyon Lake called Party Cove. That's where first responders continue their search. They're urging other lakegoers to use precaution before going into the water.
Watch out for yourselves, watch out for your friends, watch out for your children. Encourage everyone to wear a life jacket.
A dive team has been requested and they will resume that search later today.
We have the latest COVID-19 numbers here in Bexar County.
Now, 5 new deaths accounted for, raising our death toll here in Bexar County to 122. The county also surpassing 14,500 cases. That's just because yesterday we added 341 new confirmed cases.
And hospital numbers not looking any better. Right now, there are 1,120 patients in local hospitals, with 351 in intensive care and 191 on ventilators.
And according to the city's website, only 15% of the beds at our hospitals are still left available at this time. And like we were just saying, more than 1,100 people in our local hospitals, 122 people dead because of this pandemic. So in today's leading essay, in the aftermath of 5 additional deaths here in Bexar County, we wanted to break down the numbers and break down what could lie ahead.
Again, the county also surpassing 14,500 cases. Mayor Ron Nirenberg has been watching these numbers closely, and he joins us live this morning. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, y'all. How are you?
Good.
Doing well. Thank you for joining us. What seems like Bexar County seeing record cases every few days. Can you explain why we are having the surge?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of reasons I think have contributed to the surge, and we're seeing this happen across the state of Texas and really across the country as well. We started opening up Texas in May. At the same time, we began to open up very quickly through the governor's orders without the benefit of the data showing us, the effects of the previous decision to open up in each phase. So, and you had that coupled with the fact that there were a lot of mixed messaging about things like face mask wearing, and I think it encouraged people to let their guard down. So we have doubled down on the message from our public health professionals that we've got to be mindful of their guidance as we begin to open up activities, which means wearing face masks, maintaining physical distance, ensuring we're doing all the sanitation and hygiene practices that they've been recommending from the beginning.
And they are kind of along those lines. San Antonio remains on the list of major cities with increased rates of positive cases. What do you believe the challenge is here?
The challenge is we are a big city, and we also have a mix mash of state, federal, and local orders that are complicating the message. But really, it should be very simple. The virus transfers from one person to another. It doesn't linger on places much at all. And so it's going from one person's mouth or nose to another person's mouth or nose. All we have to do to stop it, to stop that spread and break the chain of transmission, is block the virus. That's why face mask wearing is so important. The droplets that come out of someone's nose and mouth are what are carrying this virus. And so those droplets get blocked by simple things like a face covering. So if you're around people at all, you should wear a face covering. And if we endure this for a couple of weeks, we will see our numbers drop dramatically. And until there's a virus or therapeutics, we just have to continue to be on guard and make sure that we're mindful of what the medical professionals are telling us, that, protect yourself, protect your family, make sure that we're not complicating the medical system, and we can get through this together.
Now, we've seen inside looks at hospitals here in Texas and here in San Antonio. We've seen them become overwhelmed. How are you working with our local healthcare system to help alleviate some of that stress?
San Antonio is benefited by being the center of medical response during most emergencies and disasters, natural, man-made, whatever. We are always the center for activities. So we have a very coordinated system, incident command. It starts with the South Texas Regional Advisory Council, which coordinates all the hospital systems in our region. And so we've been working with all of our major hospitals to track capacity and also to manage the load in each of these different hospitals. All the while, as the community begins to work together to flatten the curve, we're also doing things like building up our surge capacity in the event that one or two or even the whole hospital system gets overwhelmed. There's a place that we can offload patients. So that's where you've been hearing things like things about the Freeman Coliseum and other ways that we're reducing elective surgeries so there's capacity in the hospitals. But it really comes down to us working together to limit the spread of the infection, because any of the burden that's borne on the medical system is less capacity. We can deal with a lot of other challenges that happen on a daily basis here in a big city.
And Mayor, you kind of went over this earlier, but there are some people who have been writing in who say they are frustrated by the mask mandate. What would be your message to them?
You know, nobody likes to wear a mask. This is not, it's not something we're used to. It's not something that's even comfortable. You have to remember it. But look, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and our medical teams and emergency techs and first responders, firefighters, nurses, grocery store workers, everybody's been pitching in to handle this pandemic. And if we don't work together, it will go out of control. We've seen the potential for that just recently. The mask wearing is so critically important, again, because this virus is transmitted from one person to another. And it goes from one person's nose and mouth to your nose or mouth. And so the only thing we have to do to stop that infection from occurring is block it at its source. Face mask wearing, physical distancing becomes our main mode of controlling this infection before there's any vaccine or therapeutics available. We do that, we can get through this and open up our economy just like we all want to do. But it's going to take us all working together. Very simple things to do.
All right, Mayor, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here at 8:30.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Time now, 8:11, 79 degrees out.
And still ahead, a popular rapper has just announced his candidacy for the 2020 presidential election. We're going to tell you about what Kanye West has to say.
Plus, taking a much-needed vacation. Well, kind of. After the break, we're going to tell you how these people went absolutely nowhere. Huh. Interesting.
It's all in the mind. Taking a look outside with live cam. It's all in the mind. It's nice and cool outside. No, just kidding. It's not. It's 79 degrees, but this is cooler than what it will be later this afternoon. We're going to check in with Sarah in just a bit.
Good morning, welcome back, and happy Sunday. If you've traveled overseas, you know that checking in, security screening, immigration clearance, and boarding, well, not normally the part people look forward to.
But these are not normal times, and at an airport in Taiwan, it was an interesting experience.
That's right, 60 lucky people got to do it. What a prize. It was a pretend to go abroad airport tour with a fake flight. People there haven't had the airport or flight experience lately, as most flights in Taiwan still grounded because of this pandemic.
So a series of renovations and expansions were completed last year, and the tour takers are the first to experience the upgrades. About 7,000 people reportedly entered a contest for this experience, and 180 people were chosen.
Wait.
Oh, there you go. You went absolutely nowhere.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm all about a staycation.
Right.
I'm all about it.
Not all about the security checks to go to my staycation,
But that's
though.
the thing. Who enjoys that part of it?
Well, I mean, I guess it's different, maybe.
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 I won't poo-poo on it. Okay. In fact, I do have a Weather 101 question that I'd like to see if you guys could get the answer to. So let's test that out. What is the average high temperature for San Antonio in July? We saw 101 yesterday.
Ladies first.
Again? Okay. Well, that was a tough one. Average, I guess. I want to go higher, but maybe 95. I'm going to go with
95?
B.
I'm going to go C.
Oh, Max.
I know, 97 and 2.
95, and that's for the entire month of July. So we gradually warm up a little bit by the end of July. So 95 is for the entire month. Right now, the average high is about 94, but it'll get hotter by the end of the month. And this was a look at those high temperatures yesterday. 101 in San Antonio. It's been our hottest day of the year. We haven't been that hot since last August. 107 was the high temperature out near Del Rio. It was 99 in Gonzales, 101 in LaGrange, 107 in Cotulla. You can see where the real heat was, as it typically is southwest of San Antonio, 106 in Carrizo Springs, and 105 easy degrees down in Laredo. We're still going to be that hot today, my friends. So yesterday's heat is today's heat. Right now outside we have got clear skies. You can see a little bit of the haze on the horizon. Coming up, I'll talk about when we'll be able to see the Saharan dust dissipate. But for now, just know that it is out there in relatively low amounts, especially compared to last week. 79 right now in San Antonio. We do have partly cloudy skies. A lot of those clouds are those high, thin cirrus clouds, wispy in the upper levels of the atmosphere. 75 at Bernie Stage Airfield at the moment, 76 in Tarpley and at JBSA Randolph, 78 in New Braunfels, 78 in Canyon Lake and 78 in Devine. Our weather pattern is interesting because we've got that high pressure system, that heat high over Baja California right now. Notice though in the panhandle of Texas and in North Texas, there's been a steady stream of rainfall. This is following that northwesterly flow high up in the atmosphere. And as we head into the week, this northwesterly flow will be around tomorrow and especially on Tuesday. So Tuesday we do have a shot at some isolated rain. Today I just don't think we're going to get any rain in San Antonio, but I will put a 10% chance for a pop-up very stray shower from Junction to Rock Springs to Kerrville. But again, here in San Antonio, staying hot, sunny and dry. 100 degrees for the high temperature in San Antonio, near that out toward Gonzales and Hallettsville, near 100 for New Braunfels, and in Austin, once again, well into the triple digits out toward Del Rio, Eagle Pass, Carrizo Springs, and Laredo. So only so many ways to say hot outside, but the good news is we're not going to be that humid in the afternoon. So we'll still have low humidity, so we won't have to deal with the heat index value. Southeast winds today at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and not too bad in the evening. It'll be a very slow cool down. We'll still be in the 90s by 10, but with that low humidity and without the sun shining, it shouldn't be that bad in the late evening hours. But in the afternoons in the week ahead, it's going to be a scorcher. These high temperatures will be close to 100 degrees every day, and humidity will be back. So it'll feel like it's in the hundreds anyway. Rain chances not looking great. We're calling them wimpy rain chances. That's what we're saying all day long. Only isolated showers and storms possible on Tuesday. Until then, a stray shower or storm, but it's just not going to be likely. And then by the end of the week, rain chances, zilch, zero, nada, nothing. It's just going to be hot and humid in the middle of the week. Today, though, not too humid in the afternoon, so try to soak that up in the shade if you can.
My goodness, good advice, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. 820, 79 degrees out.
A music legend now honored with his own statue. Still ahead, where fans are remembering Prince.
And talking about music and artists, one artist announcing they have a big step in the upcoming presidential race coming up. What we know about Kanye 2020.
And welcome back. It's 8:24. In your morning spotlight, Kanye West says he's running for president this year. The singer announced it on Twitter yesterday, saying that it's time to, quote, realize the promise of America, end quote. West went on to say he wants to build the nation's future by trusting God and unifying a vision. He had mentioned wanting to run for president during the 2015 MTV Video Music Awards.
In the meantime, singer Neil Young says he is not okay with the Trump campaign using his music at the president's Independence Day celebration at Mount Rushmore. Rockin' in a Free World and Like a Hurricane are audible in videos from the event on Twitter. Young says that's not okay with him. He adds that he stands with the Lakota Sioux. The area where Mount Rushmore is carved is sacred to them, and records show the Sioux have a historical claim to that land.
The Minnesota town where Prince filmed a scene from Purple Rain now has a memorial for him. Now complete with a statue, purple flowers, and other tributes, Henderson resident Joel King created a memorial to Prince funded by his fans. In the movie, the artist drives a motorcycle along the Minnesota River in Henderson. King says people from around the world have signed the guest book.
And time now, 8:25, 79 degrees out.
And Mayor Ron Nirenberg joining us again for Leading SA. In just a few minutes, we're going to talk about local leaders' response to the pandemic and what the school year could look like.
Plus, an Ohio police sergeant facing charges after surveillance footage shows him kicking an inmate in the head. We're going to have all the details next on GMSA. Good morning and welcome back. I'm Max Massey.
I'm Stephanie Cerna. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're having a good 4th of July weekend for, those of you who are off. That's good.
Were you able to make it outside yesterday?
We did, but very briefly because it was so hot, Sarah.
Oh my goodness, not only was it hot, it was the hottest day of the year so far. We saw a high temperature of 101 degrees. We haven't been that hot since August of last year. And today, we'll do it again. It's going to be another triple-digit day. This is about the coolest we'll get all day, other than the morning lows, which were just a few degrees cooler than this. 79 right now at the airport, 82 in Del Rio, 78 78 in Gonzales, 75 in Rock Springs, 79 in Carrizo Springs, and 77 down in Cotulla. So today, repeat weather. We're going to have a lot of sunshine, just a few more clouds out there, but not too much. In the afternoon, we'll have low humidity, which will be good because you do not want a heat index value on top of the triple-digit heat. Southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour and a pretty pleasant evening. Now, earlier I was mentioning the dust. Dust is actually low today. Mold, however, has climbed a little bit. It's now moderate at 700, and pigweed is low as well. That's our pollen count for today. The dust, the good news is we're not going to see a second plume like what we saw this past week. In fact, here's a model of the African dust forecast, and it looks good. We won't have to worry about that. Now, what we will have to worry about is the heat and humidity and the lack of rain. We have got a forecast coming up for you that you're going to want to pay attention to. Maybe hide your eyes from if you don't like the heat and humidity. I'll be back with the forecast in a few minutes. Max.
Thank you, Sarah. We continue to follow the latest involving the pandemic, especially here in San Antonio, from the public's health to the state of our economy and the state of our leadership.
Joining us live once more is Mayor Ron Nirenberg. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Well, thanks for joining us again. Do you foresee a point where we would see the stay home, work safe order again?
You know, nobody wants to see that happen simply because that's not ultimately what's going to control this pandemic. We are probably a year away from a vaccine, maybe more for therapeutics as well. So we're working together to make sure that the public health professionals have a clear, direct access to the public with regard to the guidance. And ultimately, what's going to control this pandemic is us limiting the spread of it from person to person, and that's face mask wearing, that's physical distancing, et cetera. So if we don't start to practice those things, this is going to be a long and enduring process for us to get back to opening up the activities and the economy again. So, you know, we're trying to make sure that people are exhibiting those behaviors and that we're able to control this virus and before we would have to go to those measures.
So you say nobody wants to see that again, but is that out of the realm of possibility? I mean, we keep seeing record days. Yeah. If this continues to get worse and worse, do you think we're going to hit a point where we're going to have to shut down again?
You know, again, we don't want to see that happen, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility. Right now, though, the governor is controlling what opens and closes in terms of what's considered essential activity and what's considered a reopened activity. So what we can do here locally is make sure that people are exhibiting those behaviors and know the best guidance from the public health professionals.
Now, have you worked with the governor through the last few months implementing the renewed mask mandate and the new restrictions? And what does that working relationship, like state leadership, look like?
Well, it's an ongoing conversation. Again, we've had our differences in terms of you know, we wanted to make sure that we saw the data before things started to open up. We wanted to see a mask mandate in place so that it was easier for people to exhibit those behaviors, but it's been challenging. So I think the governor has realized that some things have been you know, happening too fast, and so you've seen some of these the reopening plans rolled back, which I think is a good decision.
All right, Mayor. Also, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick this week said that Dr. Anthony Fauci, quote, doesn't know what he's talking about, end quote. This after Fauci flagged Texas as a COVID-19 hotspot. Yeah,
that's, you know, it's unconscionable that an elected official in the middle of a pandemic would ignore the guidance from the nation's highest doctors. You know, Dan Patrick is probably the person we most need to stay home during this pandemic.
And for our last question, as teachers and students prepare for the next school year, just a month away, what should we expect? What should parents expect? What should sports fans expect in the fall if this surge doesn't stop?
You know, this is a touch and go process. And so I know the state administrator as well as our local school districts are working through their plans right now, but people need to be mindful that things may change and we need to work together to control this pandemic.
So do you think that we will see kids in classrooms come September, come August?
I think we will. I think it's going to be a little different. There'll be a lot of physical distancing. There may be some scheduling changes. But again, we've got to be open to the fact that things are going to be dramatically different when school starts again this year. So people need to do what they can to plan for contingencies. But, if we work together, we can get back to normal quickly.
I think everybody would like to see that. Thank you, Mayor Ron Nirenberg, for joining us this morning.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
And with San Antonio emergency rooms and intensive care units filled with COVID-19 patients, local leaders are pleading with people to take extra caution this holiday weekend.
COVID-19 cases surpassing 14,500 here in Bexar County. 5 additional deaths reported as of yesterday. Tiffany Huertas live with the latest information on testing sites and the latest numbers.
Good morning, Max and Stephanie. Yeah, testing continues to be available here in San Antonio. Today, there will be a walk-up testing site at Kazan Middle School and tomorrow one at Cuellar Community Center. Now, yesterday, 341 new coronavirus cases were reported. Hospitalizations are still seeing a rapid increase in COVID-19 patients, and there are currently 1,120 patients in the hospital. Governor Greg Abbott also announcing that 12 hospitals across San Antonio will receive 63 cases of the antiviral drug remdesivir, which local doctors say is helping COVID-19 patients. Now, local leaders say this 4th of July weekend could shape the future of the pandemic. Max, Stephanie?
All right, thank you so much, Tiffany. And as Tiffany did just briefly mention, if you're still needing to get tested, there will be a pop-up testing site today from 10 in the morning to 2 this afternoon. This location on Gillette Boulevard. 300 free tests conducted. Testing also be available Monday and Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. as well.
Meanwhile, the numbers throughout Texas continued to rise this morning at astonishing numbers. In just the past 24 hours, there were a total of 8,258 people who tested positive. That brings the total number of confirmed cases to 196,000 and the total deaths in the state to 2,646 people. There are also close to 8,000 people hospitalized statewide. We also want to remind everyone this morning that Governor Greg Abbott has mandated face masks for counties with 20 or more positive cases. Breaking with that order could set you back $250.
And in the latest coronavirus news, Atascosa County mourning the loss of their emergency management coordinator, David Prasifka. He's been actually leading the county through its coronavirus response, and he died because of this pandemic. County officials say in addition to the disease, he had also been diagnosed with an underlying health condition which, quote unquote, severely compromised his immune system. In addition to his role with the county, he was also a volunteer firefighter in Jourdanton.
There's still time to cast your ballot as early voting continues this week. So early voting will be held through next Friday, July 10th, Election Day, July 14th. You can find polling information and take a look at sample ballots right now on our website. Just go to ksat.com/vote2020.
And in your morning headlines, people in Houston remember Vanessa Guillen, the soldier who disappeared back in April. An immigrant advocacy group held a march for her last night, saying she fought for her community and it's now time for them to fight for her. Here in Military City, USA, a vigil and a march was also held honoring the young soldier's life. One of the suspects fatally shooting himself, police tell us, as police approached him last week. The other suspect remains arrested and awaiting charges.
In this story, we want to advise that it may be graphic for some viewers. So over in the state of Ohio, a Cincinnati police sergeant has been charged with assault after a video showed him kicking an inmate in the head. This is surveillance video from back in early June. Investigators say the inmate was arrested for disorderly conduct while intoxicated and obstructing official business. When taken to the Justice Center for processing, the inmate allegedly bit the sergeant's work boots, and that's when Jesse Franklin is seen on camera kicking the suspect in the head. The inmate was sent to the hospital with a cut above his eye.
And a large group of protesters taking down a statue of Christopher Columbus, throwing it into the Baltimore harbor last night. The video of the statue can be heard breaking into several pieces as it crashes to the ground. The person who took the video says there were at least 300 people in attendance. That protest reportedly starting in downtown Baltimore. Then the crowd marched to the site of the statue, tearing it down. Right now, no word of any arrests. Time now, 8:39, 79 degrees out.
And still ahead, the future for Netflix prices. We're going to tell you what you can expect as consumers stream even more during this pandemic.
Plus, Disney pass holders stripped of hundreds of dollars this week after a technical difficulty. We're going to have the details right after the break.
And if you haven't stepped outside already this morning, it is humid. It is only 79 degrees though, because it's going to get a lot hotter this afternoon. We're going to check in with our Sarah Spivey to see how hot it will get today and throughout the week. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Coming up on This Week, the nation set daily records for new coronavirus cases. I'll talk to top officials representing 3 of the hardest hit metro areas, Miami, Houston, and Phoenix. Plus, Stephen Hahn, the man leading the Food and Drug Administration, has the response from the White House Coronavirus Task Force, and our Powerhouse Roundtable breaks down President Trump's 4th of July speeches. It's all coming up on This Week.
And in your more consumer headlines this morning, some Disney World annual pass holders upset after they were incorrectly charged hundreds of dollars this month. So this happening just a week before Disney is set to reopen two of its big. Ooh, look at that! The Cinderella waving at us.
Yeah, I love the princess.
2 of its customers say when they called Disney, all they got was a message saying that Disney was experiencing technical difficulties. Try again later. A spokesperson eventually announced they're in the process of reversing those charges.
And millions of Americans are still watching Netflix, even more so since the pandemic began. Turns out customers say they would actually be willing to pay more money for their subscription. Shh, be quiet, customers.
Don't give them any ideas.
Yeah. Right? Even with competition coming in from Disney Plus, HBO Max, Apple TV Plus others, Netflix has seen its pricing power grow over the last 5 months. The good news is analysts don't expect Netflix to raise prices this year.
Good.
Yay.
That is the last thing we need.
I actually got an email from YouTube TV and they're upping their prices.
Oh, goodness.
But a lot of people are sitting around watching TV, including myself. So.
Oh, yeah. It's
True.
very hot outside.
It is.
Good time to do that right now.
And, you know, it's good to be inside with just your family with the coronavirus going around. But some people were able to enjoy the 4th of July yesterday. Here's a picture sent in through our KSAT Connect feature on our weather app. And look at that beautiful firework there off in the distance. And then the moon, actually almost a completely full moon there. This picture was sent in from Lavernia, Texas. So thank you for sending in your pictures to our KSAT Connect feature on our weather app. We'd love to see those pictures and include them on air. Right now outside, we've just got some high thin cirrus clouds. You can see the haze on the horizon from a mixture of humidity at the moment, and there is still some Saharan dust in the air. It's low though, 79 degrees outside, and yes, it's humid. But remember, this is how we started the day off yesterday. In the afternoon, the humidity went down, and that's what allowed temperatures to spike. And that's exactly what we're going to see today. Clouds have started to dissipate from Seguin to Gonzales to Hallettsville. There are a few more clouds working their way in from the north, and so we may have a mostly sunny afternoon with just a few clouds here and there, but still it's going to be a sunny day. 82 in Del Rio already, 79 Uvalde, 78 in Kerrville, 77 in Rock Springs, 80 in Beeville, and in Victoria, 80 in Gonzales. FUTURECAST does show that there could be a pop-up shower in the hill country, in the northern hill country. So from Junction to Sonora to Rock Springs to Kerrville, we're going to give it a 10% chance up there. But here in San Antonio, going to stay dry as a bone. We'll be looking at tons of sunshine, and the second day in a row where our high temperatures will be in the triple digits. Believe it or not, yesterday was our first day to hit 100 degrees officially at the airport, but we'll be able to do it again today. 100 in Castroville, 100 Von Army, near 100 in Medina Lake, in the upper 90s for areas like Bernie, Leon Springs, Timberwood Park, near 100 for Seguin and New Braunfels as well. We'll already be at 90 degrees around lunch. Again, thankfully, low humidity in the afternoon, because if we had humidity, we'd have a heat index on top of this, and we just don't want that. I'm calling it repeat weather today. Southeast winds at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, and a pretty pleasant, although warm, evening tonight. Our weather pattern is dominated by this high pressure system over Baja California right now. Something I want you to pay attention to, though, around this heat high is on the east side. You can see those showers from the panhandle of Texas all the way to North Texas. That's northwesterly flow, and we'll be in northwesterly flow as we start the week. So tomorrow and Tuesday, we'll be in that northwesterly flow. So any showers and storms that develop north of us will have the potential to fire off isolated rain around San Antonio. But the key word there is isolated at best. We are not going to see widespread, healthy, beneficial rain for everybody, just 1 or 2 pop-up showers or storms. Everybody, however, will be experiencing the heat. In the week ahead, high temperatures will be in the upper 90s every day. And we have got wimpy storm chances this week. Only a stray shower on Monday, isolated on Tuesday, and then nothing as we round out the week. And something also I want to mention is although it's not going to be humid today in the afternoon, it will be humid in the afternoons ahead. That means heat index value. So even though the thermometer may not reach 100, it's still going to feel like it. Heat index is the great indicator of how hot it actually is outside. So, Max, Stephanie, how are you going to stay cool other than staying in the AC? Got any plans?
I'm going to wait till it gets, I was going to stay cooler, but not as hot.
Yeah, in the morning outside. It should be okay, and later in the evenings, too.
I'm staying inside and finishing the puzzle.
Hey, there you go.
What about you, Sarah?
I'll probably stay inside as well.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I just got to the Back to the Future section of the puzzle. It's about to go down.
Oh, yeah, you're going to
80s puzzle.
That's right.
8:49, 79 degrees out.
And gleaming hardwood floors are a hot trend right now. Unless you're part of the 60% of American families who own a pet like me, join us tomorrow on GMSA at 6 as we look into the best pet-friendly flooring options for your home. In the news you need to know before you go, a deadly shooting in a northeast side parking lot. Just after 4:30 this morning, police were called to a shopping center in the 4400 block of Walsham Road. Officers tell us a driver in a black car pulled up when somebody in that vehicle started shooting. One man in his 30s died at the scene. Another man, also in his 30s, was shot in the arm. He was taken to the hospital. Police have detained several witnesses for questioning.
And police trying to figure out if a victim in a stabbing investigation could also be the suspect. Police say 2 men got into an altercation in the parking lot of the WIMPY on Gardendale. We're told both men had weapons, one of which was a machete. One of the men hospitalized with a gash on his head, the other taken into custody. Police tell us they're still questioning both men. No charges have been filed yet, but another person arrested on the scene.
The Head for the Cure 5K event held in honor of our former news director Jim Boyle will be online this year. The virtual event will take place on Facebook Live and YouTube on September 26th. To find out more about the event and how you can participate, you can visit KSAT.com. The foundation is also offering a one-time discount code as we head into Independence Day. We are there this weekend, so just enter July 4th to get the discount. That code expires today.
Well, just another look at the pollen count today. It's honestly not too bad. We're still dealing with some dust. It's low though, and it's decreasing, and it's expected to continue to decrease. Mold is moderate at 700 spores per cubic meter of air, and pigweed is low as well. If you have access to a pool, today would be a good day to enjoy a dip in the pool because it's going to be sunny and very hot. 100 degrees in the afternoon. Low humidity in the afternoon too, so feeling pretty nice, and eventually we'll see those temperatures fall into the 90s. It'll still be in the 90s by 10 o'clock tonight though, so it's going to stay hot all day long, and in fact it'll stay hot all week long. This is a look at the scorching afternoons in the week ahead. Every day temperatures will be in the upper 90s. Heat index will make them feel like they're in the triple digits anyway, so really not a major change to our weather pattern. If you're hoping for rain, keep your fingers crossed for Tuesday. It's only going to be isolated, 20% chance for an isolated shower or storm, but really not going to see much of a chance for rain. I know a lot of us, our gardens are starting to get scorched by the heat, but if you do water, make sure to try to water just about every day because it's going to be hard for us to see a good amount of rainfall. Speaking of watering, we are keeping an eye on the Edwards Aquifer. Once we see the 10-day average dip below 660, we'll have to start to enter into stage 1 water restrictions according to SAWS. So a lot to keep track of.
All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed for Tuesday then.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
Have a